At Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, there was a secret that everyone knew, but no one dared to talk about. The hospital was systematically excluding poor families. That day, Dr. Aldo Lee, the hospital's finance department, and other staff members had no idea what they were up against. They could never have imagined that the biggest challenge of their lives would walk through their doors on what seemed like an ordinary Monday morning. Angelina Jolie had come to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles to secretly investigate rumors of child health discrimination. Despite being recognized at the hospital entrance, she managed to keep her true purpose hidden. But what she didn't yet know was that this investigation would turn from passive observation into active intervention. As she walked through the hospital's luxurious corridors, she heard harsh voices coming from the finance department around the corner. Dr. Aldo Lee's cold tone saying, "This hospital is not a charitable institution," clashed with a mother's plea. "Please, my daughter is really sick." The doctor's advice to find places suitable for your economic level hung in the air. But this was only the beginning. Angelina had no idea how ruthless the system at this prestigious hospital was, how the finance department rejected sick children, or how her intervention would spark a storm. Young Mother Diamond was a 26-year-old waitress struggling to make ends meet in Los Angeles. Every day she walked the fine line between survival and motherhood. Her husband had abandoned Diamond and their young daughter Skylar 2 years earlier. Since then, Diamond had been fighting alone. Her basic health insurance did not cover the expensive nebulizer treatment required for young daughter Skylar's severe asthma attacks. Skylar had not been able to sleep at night for the past 3 days, coughing constantly and struggling to breathe. Diamond had taken her to the emergency room, but the basic treatment provided there was insufficient. This inadequacy had multiplied Diamond's helplessness tenfold. The doctors had recommended specialized nebulizer treatment, but the cost was $5,500. "Mom, you're so tired," Skylar said quietly, seeing her mother's worried face. "Maybe another doctor would be more helpful?" "No, honey. The doctor said you need special treatment," Diamond said, holding her daughter's hand tightly. Dr. Aldo Lee was the pulmonologist at the hospital. He was known for his cold and distant demeanor, as if he were looking at files rather than patients. After listening to the young mother's situation, he shrugged his shoulders. This gesture was a physical manifestation of his lack of empathy. "Mrs. Williams, I've already explained this to you. This treatment is in a special category. Your insurance doesn't cover it. But isn't there another option? My daughter's condition is really serious. You can find more affordable options at public hospitals," Dr. Lee said, unconcerned. "We went there, but the waiting list is 6 months long. My daughter can't wait that long." Nurse Janet Coleman approached Dr. Lee. She was just as cold and indifferent, as if emotional detachment were the official uniform of this department. "Mrs. Williams, financial advisor Ms. Wells would like to speak with you," Janet said. Patricia Wells was the director of the hospital's financial department. She wanted to call Diamond to her office to clarify the situation. "Look, Mrs. Williams," Wells said as she placed files on her desk. "This hospital provides high-quality care. Treatment costs must be paid up front. Where am I supposed to get $5,500? I'm a waitress. Then I suggest you look for alternative solutions. There are suitable places for patients at this economic level." "My economic level?" Diamond's voice trembled. "I'm a working mother. I pay my taxes, I have insurance." "But it's insufficient insurance," Ms. Wells said sharply. "You have to accept that fact." Skylar sat quietly beside her mother. Her small body seemed crushed under the weight of this big world. She listened to the adults talk, but didn't intervene. The wheezing in her chest had increased, and her face had grown pale. "Mom, maybe if we had the money I could get treatment," Skylar said innocently. "No, my dear, you're sick." "I know, Mom, but these people don't want to help us. You're wasting your energy." These words broke Diamond's heart. Her little girl could see the situation so clearly. At that very moment, as if fate had decided to intervene, there was a commotion at the hospital entrance. This commotion was not an ordinary entrance, but the beginning of a turning point. A graceful, tall woman entered. Her stylish, casual attire and natural beauty immediately caught everyone's attention. This person was Angelina Jolie, who had come to investigate claims of discrimination in children's healthcare. Though she had planned to arrive incognito, she was recognized at the hospital entrance. While the hospital staff treated her with special consideration, she would soon become aware of the drama unfolding at the other end of the corridor. As she passed through that corridor, she overheard Diamond and Skylar's desperate conversation. "Look, Skylar," Diamond was trying to explain to her daughter, "these people have cruel rules, but we'll find another way." "What path, Mom? You're already working so hard." "I don't know, baby, but we won't give up. You'll get better, I promise you." Those words were like the last glimmer of hope clinging to the midst of despair. When Angelina heard the conversation, she stopped. She felt the helplessness of a mother and child. "Excuse me," she said, approaching gently. "I'm Angelina. I don't mean to disturb you, but what's the problem?" Diamond looked more closely at the woman's face. Those familiar eyes, that voice. Aren't you the woman from TV? The one who makes movies?" she asked hesitantly. "Mom, this woman is famous," Skylar said calmly. Angelina nodded with a modest smile. "Yes, but I'm here just as a person. I'm researching health issues." "Are you sick?" the little girl asked curiously. "No, I'm doing research, but you look sick." "I have asthma, but special treatment is very expensive," Skylar said simply. This simplicity was a child's summary of a complex system. Angelina's expression changed. "How expensive?" $5,500, the young mother said sadly. "And your insurance doesn't cover it?" The hospital told us to look for places suitable for our economic level." A sparkle appeared in Angelina's eyes. "What does the doctor say? Is the treatment really necessary?" "Yes, but—" The poor young woman couldn't finish her sentence. "But no one is listening to us," Skylar said in her mother's place. "Because we don't have the money." These blunt words affected Angelina. For a 10-year-old child to see the situation so clearly. "Skylar, you have a beautiful name. I definitely want to talk to you. But first, I need to have a little chat with the doctors at this hospital. Okay?" This chat was an innocent description of the battle plan. The determination in Angelina's voice gave Diamond hope. Would things change? And at that very moment, as if the final actor had entered the stage, Dr. Aldo Lee suddenly joined them. He continued speaking without noticing Angelina. "You need to make your final decision. Either you pay, or you'll have to consider other options." This ultimatum was the last moment of calm before the storm. "Doctor, my daughter is really suffering," Diamond repeated. "I understand, but rules are rules. This hospital is not a charitable institution." Angelina tried to stay calm at first, but Dr. Lee's words, "This hospital is not a charitable institution," triggered her. "Charity?" Diamond's voice hardened. "I want justice for my sick daughter, not charity." At that moment, Angelina Jolie, standing next to Diamond, caught his attention. Dr. Lee noticed her and stopped. "I'm sorry, I recognize you," Dr. Lee said politely. His tone had changed completely, becoming diplomatically soft. "Angelina Jolie, isn't it? It's a big surprise to see you here." "Do you have an emergency?" Angelina replied coldly. "I don't have an emergency. I was just listening to this conversation. This child is sick, and you want money." This observation was both an accusation and a challenge. "Ms. Jolie, I'm sure you understand," the doctor said diplomatically. "Hospital systems are complicated. We can't provide services without financial procedures. You understand the business world." The business world. Angelina's voice grew even harsher. Child health isn't a business. It's a responsibility. I've also heard some very sad things about this family, Angelina said. Despite this little girl's serious condition, she's not being treated because of some excuses, is she? No, that's a misunderstanding. Dr. Lee immediately defended himself. This defense was a reflex action of someone cornered. Of course we're treating her. It's just the financial procedures. Financial procedures. Angelina's voice had grown cold. Financial procedures for a 10-year-old sick child? Nurse Janet tried to intervene. Ms. Jolie, there are hospital policies. Everyone is subject to the same rules. Really? Then why weren't the same procedures applied to me? This question was the sharp knife that exposed the hypocrisy. Janet and Dr. Lee exchanged glances. Of course, Angelina had received special treatment. This is a different situation, Doctor, Lee said, sweating. What's different? Ms. Wells tried to clarify the situation. Ms. Jolie, you're a businesswoman. Hospital economics work this way. Emotions don't solve problems. This family can make a payment plan or explore other options. Now? A minute ago you were kicking them out. We weren't kicking them out. We were just explaining the options, Ms. Wells lied. What options? Find places suitable for your economic level. During this argument, a magnetic pull had begun in the hospital corridor. Angelina Jolie's presence and this discussion were drawing a lot of attention, as if the main news bulletin were being broadcast live. Let me tell you this, Doctor. Lee, Angelina said, raising her voice. I am here to investigate these unfair practices, and I will not stand by and watch this child go untreated. Dr. Lee resisted. Ms. Jolie, this is a medical institution, not a movie set. Things don't work that way in the real world. The real world, Angelina replied with a cold smile. Then let me show you what can happen in the real world. And at that moment, the most powerful weapon of modern times came into play. Angelina pulled out her phone. Dr. Lee panicked. This panic was the classic fear of someone who realized the truth was being recorded. Recording? Ms. Jolie, this isn't ethical. Not ethical? Angelina laughed mockingly. Is sending a sick child away for money ethical? Your ethics seem very selective. Ms. Wells saw that the situation was getting out of control. Ms. Jolie, if you'd like, let's go to my office. We can discuss this there. There's no need to discuss it, Angelina said. It's time for action. Skylar's treatment will begin immediately. In the treatment room, the doctor carefully reevaluated the girl's condition. Under Angelina's watchful gaze, he was much more careful and attentive this time. Her condition is really serious, he finally said with complete honesty. We need to start nebulizer treatment immediately. When the treatment began, the little patient's signs of relief became immediately apparent. Her breathing became easier, and her complexion improved. Mom, I feel much better, the girl said joyfully. Thank God, my dear, the mother said, her tears turning into tears of joy. During the treatment, the director returned to speak with Angelina. Ms. Jolie, how do you plan to organize this fund? It's very simple. We'll establish a children's health fund. I'll deposit a certain amount of money each month. How much? $15,000 a month. That amounts to $180,000 a year, Angelina said. The director's eyes lit up, but this figure seemed more reasonable. It's enough to start with. We can increase it later. But my conditions are strict, she continued. Every child will be treated equally, regardless of their financial situation. At this point, the finance department director intervened with concern. Ms. Jolie, this system will change the entire hospital's economy. Let it change, for the better. But there could be uncontrolled expenses. Is children's health an uncontrolled expense? This question silenced the woman. Mr. Clark, my legal team will prepare the details, Angelina said. But the basic rule is this. If a child comes in sick, they will be treated. The bureaucratic procedures will be handled afterward. I also have one more condition. We will establish a special committee to oversee this fund. A committee? Yes. It will include doctors, nurses, and most importantly, patient families. Patient families? The director asked in surprise. Of course, they know best what is needed. Young nurse Kaylee approached excitedly. This is really a great idea. Would you like to be on the committee? She asked. I'd love to. That way we can really make a difference. When the treatment was finished, the family, doctor, and hospital administration left the treatment room. Other patients and their families waiting in the corridor watched with curiosity. Is this fund only for asthma? Someone asked. No, she said loudly. For all sick children, no matter what illness they have. Applause rose from the crowd. How do we apply? There's no application. If your child is sick, they'll be treated. It's that simple. These words brought great joy to the hospital corridor. Families began hugging each other. Dr. Aldo Lee, who had been listening to these conversations very carefully, was witnessing a scene he had never seen in his 30-year medical career. Such hope and joy had never been experienced in the hospital corridor before. He was witnessing the power of something far stronger than financial procedures. Humanity. Perhaps the time for change had truly come. After this conversation, the famous actress went to the meeting room to discuss the final details with the director. Mr. Clark, when are we starting this change? How much time do we have? There's no time. We're starting right away, Angelina said. But staff training, system changes. The staff already knows what they need to know. Helping children. The system change is simple. Money comes second. How will the media find out about this? I'll handle it, but I'll share it in a positive way, in a way that supports this hospital. The director relaxed a little. Thank you. I'm not thanking you, because this was your responsibility anyway. When the meeting ended, the young mother and her daughter were still at the hospital. They were waiting for the final tests. How are you feeling, sweetie? Much better, Mom. I haven't breathed this easily in a long time. Angelina approached them. Are you waiting for the test results? Yes, the final check. Great. What will you need once you go home? Medications, checkups. Everything will be covered. Don't worry. How can you be so generous? It's not generosity. It's justice. When the test results came in, the doctor was pleased. The treatment was very successful. Skylar can now return to her normal life. If she takes her medications regularly, she won't have any problems, he added. Are the medication costs covered by the fund? The mother asked. Of course, Angelina said. The treatment continues at home as well as in the hospital. 3 months later, gradual changes had begun at the hospital. The Skylar Children's Health Fund had taken its first steps. 30 children had received treatment thanks to the fund. The finance department director was still resistant, but the nurses led by Kaylee were making their voices heard on the committee. Dr. Lee was still clinging to his old habits, but he now thought twice before bringing up financial procedures. Though he didn't speak up at committee meetings, he didn't object either. The change was slow but steady. How does this system work so well? Asked one of the new families. Because we prioritize the children, the nurse said. Skylar and her mother also came for a monthly checkup. The girl's health was excellent. Is Ms. Jolie here? The young patient asked. She's not here today, but she'll be here next week. I want to thank her. For what? Not just for helping me breathe, but for giving children hope. Mom, I'm not afraid of the hospital anymore, Skylar said, because the people here are helping children like us now. The mother looked at her daughter with pride. You're such a smart girl, my baby. When the famous guest visited the hospital the following week, she saw the big changes. The corridors were livelier, the staff happier, and the families more hopeful. It's wonderful to see this change, she told the director. It's all thanks to you. This fund created a miracle. It's not a miracle. We just did the right thing. Skylar ran over when she saw her, but this time she approached hesitantly. Ms. Jolie, can I ask you a question? Of course, sweetie. Weren't you afraid when you did all this for me? Angelina knelt down to the child's level. I was afraid, but sometimes doing the right thing is more important than being afraid. When I grow up, I'll be a doctor. I'll help sick children. That's an amazing goal. But I won't be like you. Why? Because I'll be better than you. This answer made the famous guest laugh. I believe that. If this story of hope and transformation touched you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories that prove how one person's determination can change the system and how real change starts with small steps. That day, as she left the hospital, the famous actress was very happy. She hadn't just helped a child, she had helped a system. Have you ever received unexpected help when you felt helpless? What did you do when you experienced systemic injustice? Share your experiences in the comments and subscribe to the channel for more stories proving that real change is possible.